and Kaduna, down to Abuja. Worked in so many parishes, and of course made his marks in those parishes. And today he is the parish priest of one of the biggest Catholic churches in Abuja, doing excellently well. With his homily, you can't but smile after he's done. He is my senior colleague in the comedy industry, because everything about him resonates comedy, comically inclined, a father to all, a friend to all, a passionate man who said, "Savor nor gold I have none at my 25th priestly anniversary, but what I have is for people to be aware of what mental health is all about." Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not busy, once again, let's celebrate Very Reverend Father Christopher Yakubu Damina. Thank you. PhD. If you call father name, you know, put PhD. If you record receive communion, we cut communion into two, give you. Father, because 25 years is not 25 days. So you must be adding that PhD. Very necessary. I see my prof is there. Dr. Mary Ann is now a professor. Please put your hands together for her once again. Yeah, it's not easy to be a prof. Prof, you can see your colleague, professor at the front, Dr. Agatha. I'm actually on my way to professorship as well. You say professor on what? Comedy? No, I'm actually reading something in gynecologist. That is one aspect of medicine I love. That's one part of medicine I love. Dr. Alex, you can imagine why I love gynecologists. You know, right? You don't know? When my wife wanted to give birth to my second daughter, the doctor entered, wore hand glove. I was in the theater, in the labor room. And when he came out, to scare me, the doctor did the hand glove, he threw it, the thing did. And I asked him, why that? He said, I want to check your wife. That was where I knew that this course is very important, so that I can be checking a lot of women as well. Just like they checked my wife. They can't check my wife and go free. I have to check other wives. Sorry? I'm not serious? You know I'm not always serious. But for today's event, it's a serious business because we're moving into the next segment of the event. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for the next phase of this event. I want to believe we've all learned a whole lot during the first and second paper presentation. And of course, when the officials of the NDLEA presented their own paper that was supposed to be a goodwill message that turned into a paper presentation. Though, we all learned a whole lot because he actually gave a lot of expose to so many things going on in our society, especially how drugs are moved from one location to another, and how people die or swallowing illicit drugs because they want to make money. And so right now, distinguished guests, priests in the house, reverend sisters, my various resource persons, I want to bring up to take us through a very sensitive section or topic this afternoon, which has to do with gender-based violence in the family, the trauma within. In the next 20 minutes, we shall be listening to Dr. Alex Agara. Please, could you please stand? He is a clinical psychologist with 20 years and counting experience in mental health, addiction recovery, and psychosocial support across clinical, academic, and humanitarian settings. Currently, lead and mentor 26 psychologists, oversee EMR documentation, and drive training audits and service quality improvements. His career spans impactful work with rehabilitation centers, humanitarian organizations, universities, and NGOs, delivering trauma-informed care, addiction treatment, and community-based mental health programs. He has led MHPSS teams in conflict zones, provided clinical training to diverse professionals, and contributed to the policy development, research, and advocacy. His CV is long, but because of want of time, let's cut it here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome to the microphone this afternoon in the next 20 minutes to discuss and talk about gender-based violence in the family, the trauma within. Please put your hands together for Dr. Alex Agara.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Permit me to stand on the already existing protocol. Before I start, may I ask that we all stand? But as you stand, please, I would like for you to do, okay, stand. Let's stand, please. If you can all see me. Some of us look tired. Don't worry, we'll soon be done. Okay. So, if you can see me, I would like each and every one, this is what I do every time I have a presentation. You look at me and do exactly what I say. Do you get? Look at me and do exactly what I say. So when I say 1, 2, 3, go, you do exactly what I tell you. Are we ready? Okay, let's do this. Your fingers like this. Remember I said, do exactly what I say. Are you ready? Do exactly what I say. So 1, 2, go. Put your hands on your chin. Now, go. Stop. Stop there. Stop. 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 Is that your chin? Is this your chin? So why did you take your hand here? Listen, they want to blame me. Listen, please, let's sit down. Let's sit down. You are blaming me. Why? Remember. Hello? Remember, I did not say do exactly what I do. I said do exactly what I say. I didn't say what I do. I should do it again. You get it. Now, the essence of this is for us to understand that when you're a leader or when you're a parent or anywhere, people often do the things they see you do rather than the things they hear you say. So if you want your child to be back home on time, don't be home late. Because you are always coming back home by 9, by 10, or at 10 in the night. Do you expect your child to be home at 10? At 6 or 5? No. Because they are watching what you do and so they copy. So it just simply tells you that most times people do most of the things that they watch us do rather than the things we ask them to do. So I'm going to have a quick presentation on gender-based violence. My presentation mostly, I'll give you one or few stories and then you tell me what kind of violence it is. But before I proceed, in recent times, who do you think, in terms of family-based violence, is it the man or the woman that is most traumatized in recent times? Both. Okay. Can I have the slides, please? Okay. So, gender-based violence, we know, is mostly an act of pain, hurt, that is directed at individuals based on their gender. So it can be male, it can be female. Okay? But like we said it is both genders that suffer violence in our home. So we're going to see the kind of violence that people experience. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be psychological, right? There's so many kinds of violence out there. So from here, we see that gender-based violence, like I said, refers to a harmful act directed at individuals based on gender, and it is done within families. It can manifest as physical, sexual, psychological, economic, and otherwise. It is often hidden, but with lasting effect. So homes who suffer gender violence, in most cases, it begins without people knowing. If it's especially when it's the man experiencing the abuse or violence. No man would want anybody to know that they're going through that kind of violence within their home. So gender-based violence is a very serious issue in recent times, and people are going through this form of violence every day, every time. You see, there was a video I watched yesterday where a man, I don't know if you, I saw it on, I think it's TikTok, where a man was recording. His wife was hitting him. She even went and came out with knife to stab him. And he was recording. And she was serious. That man is being abused, right? So people suffer forms of violence in different ways. Next slide. So, like I was saying, this form of violence can be physical abuse by hitting, beating, or restraining, sexual abuse, marital rape. People say it's not possible to say you rape your partner. Can a woman rape her husband? But people say it's impossible. That is very possible. So also a man would rape his wife. So I'll give you one true story, some case I've handled over the years. Now, this man had been married for a period of 6 years. For every time he has issues with the wife, she would be physical on him. So his first experience, they had a quarrel. And they were having heated arguments. She was hitting him. And in the process, that was about 9, 10 in the night. So he stepped outside to pick something from his car. And she locked the door. And she didn't allow him gain access to the house. This man knocked and knocked. But because he didn't want neighbors to hear them, he quietly went to the car and slept in the car till the next morning. This woman didn't allow him into the house. She only woke up very early, around, she said, towards the early hours of the day, before she opened the door, knocked at his car and asked him, "Oh, yeah, come inside now, foolish man." Now, she did that because she didn't want neighbors to see him outside. He later discovered that for every time she took in, she aborts the pregnancy. This same man got her a job, and they work in the same place. Every month after payment, he gives her own cut as a woman of the house for upkeep. So he got her into a college of education. He went to visit his wife, and he went with his friend. On arrival, so the way to the house, his wife's house where she was staying in college of education, there's a window. He quietly turned around and told his friend, "Let's go back." But he didn't know that his friends had seen what was going on, and they went back. Now, what could be the worst thing your wife would do or your partner would do to you to punish you? So they had one fight one evening. She went into the house and brought out all his credentials and burnt everything. Any credential he ever had in his life, she burnt them. She burnt everything. So one of the ones that touched people was when he was at work and she called him crying. This woman was crying, and he said, what was going on? He was worried. What is it? She said, they only had one daughter. What is it? She said, it is Faith. What happened to Faith? Faith has died. Faith died? He got confused, and his colleagues now, people now started coming with him to the house to sympathize with him. But when he got home, guess what? His daughter, Daddy Oyoyo. And he looked, what is going on? When people were coming in to sympathize with him, what is it? Guess what she said? That I just wanted you to come back home on time. So some people will say she's not normal. So everything about that woman kept going on, and this man was swallowing it, not saying anything to anybody. So it got to a point, on a weekend like this, he wouldn't see her until a Tuesday before she would return. And he dare not ask her where she went to. But people were seeing these things happening clearly, and they could not do anything. It only had to take his younger brother. His younger brother came to his house, beat the wife. When he was beating the wife, the older brother was trying to prevent. He beat the older brother and said, even if it is juju they used on you today, it has to finish. So family had to intervene, and then the marriage was separated. Even though today he has 3 more children, which makes it 4. He remarried. He had to leave that wife. So the reason I came up with this is that we need to understand what people go through in their marriages, in their homes. And this doesn't just affect either parent. It also affects the children. The children experience more and most of the trauma. And then sometimes it becomes a way that the children learn the behaviors they watch their parents exhibit. So let's be careful. Yes, every home is not always perfect. But whatever you do, avoid being physical. Avoid punishing your partner emotionally or psychologically and otherwise. We have to be very, very careful about that. So, these are some of the forms of gender-based violence we experience in families. And this happens for so many obvious reasons. Next slide. Now, what are the root causes of gender-based violence? Patriarchal structures and cultural norms. What this means is we are in a society where the male is given preference to the woman. The man would inherit these, the man is the head of these. That also gives or empowers the man to do and behave as he likes. So it's a very, very important aspect that we need to look into. That patriarchal issue in the society. I know Nigeria, mostly, that's what our belief. The male child, even some families, when they don't have a male child and they have females, the partners are not happy. The man will not be happy because the wife is unable to give birth to a male child. The doctors, is it the woman that determines the sex of the child? So, but people don't understand this. So for some of us here, please, let's know that it is neither the fault of the man or the woman. Whatever you have is what you gave in, right? Or contributed. Now, power imbalance in relationships. This can happen when, especially, one partner is doing better than the other. If you know that being in the marriage or being in that home or relationship, your partner does better than you, especially when the woman is the bread trouble. True? Do we agree? Okay. The point here is sometimes it happens. Why I'm asking if we agree is that does it happen? It happens, right? So these are some of the reasons people experience these forms of violence. Now, economic dependency is what I just spoke about. When you depend on your partner for income, the breadwinner, everything the partner has to give you. Now, that is one aspect of life that, leads to gender-based violence. Now, learned patterns of violence would now be as a result of what the individual had seen, behavioral learning, what you observe others doing. When you have a male child or a female, mostly let's say male child, that has grown up into a family where the dad is the commander of the family and always using the wife as a punching bag, what do you think that male child would do? There are possibilities that that male child will learn that behavior and see it as a normal thing. Correct? Next slide. Now, there are other forms of based violence that would have anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorders, low self-esteem, and hopelessness. Why do you think there will be low self-esteem? Because, why do you think there will be low self-esteem? Because when you're always pressing them down and not allowing them to be expressive, of course, the tendencies to now develop low self-esteem is there. There is a lady I'm working with now. Her husband was, I'm saying was because he died. He died as a serving senator in this country. But he was always pressing her and not allowing her express herself. So she lost her self-confidence. She lacked confidence. She lacked the ability to go into places and be free. Because the husband was always showing her that she's a nobody, that she's the ugliest human being on earth. And that's how she started looking at herself. Very ugly, not being able to go out for social events because the husband has damned her and made her feel very, very less important or useful. So she developed some form of depression and saying that there's no need for her to live. She'd rather just take her life, if that's what it means, because she's a nothing. Even up until the time she lost her husband, she was never respected. She was never seen as anything. His siblings, the husband's siblings, will come to the house and rule her house. The husband's siblings will come. They will take charge. They will be the ones to decide what everybody wants to eat in the house. They will decide everything for her. So it now got to the point that whenever her in-laws are around, she will just take herself to her bedroom and stay. They should just do whatever they want to do. And sometimes it gets so bad that even, okay, she decides to allow them live freely. They still blame her. We're here. Why are you sitting in your room? Can't you ask us what we want? Can't you ask us what we need? But I've allowed you, do what you want. I have never done anything right in the house, but it's always a problem. So these are issues we have to look into and understand that we can help it if we get it from the perspective. Let's put it this way. What if you are the one? What if you are the one being abused? A man was telling me that he has not had any intimate relationship now for 3 years. She has not allowed him touch her. What do you do as a man? What does that mean? Do you think that man will remain faithful? For 3 years, she did not allow him to touch her. That is torture, right? It's quite traumatic. What would be your recommendation for this kind of person? Should he go and live his life and get whatever he wants out there because his wife is now allowing him? And recently he's saying that he suspects she's seeing someone else. It's possible, right? Now, integrational trauma, that is children witnessing this violence, like I said earlier. So they see it, they learn it, and they begin to exhibit it. So the impact on children, cry or make noise, because sometimes the parents take the violence on the children and they transfer it to the children, and the children also suffer that. So there's usually emotional distress and behavioral issues. You now find children having academic decline and concentration problems in school. There's risk of becoming victims or perpetrators later in life. That is perpetrators of acts of violence in the home. And then broken sense of safety and stability. Now, in order to break the circle, need to be supported with services out there, right? Now, there are counseling and trauma-focused therapy that can be given, but unless these people understand the need to get help, oftentimes, people who suffer some form of violence don't admit it. Therefore, they find it difficult. They find it very, very difficult to go and get help. And sometimes we go to the wrong people. We go to the wrong people to seek help. I know of a family where they were having issues. The wife left the man. He was sleeping in the sitting room in the afternoon. She just came in with a hoe. She used hoe. I think they used hoe to do the grasses that day. And then she just hacked his forehead. He was sleeping. She cut off this place out. And the man started screaming, shouting, and bleeding. They had to come and help him. So you see the kind of people are becoming very heartless, in terms of handling little issues in the homes. And then legal frameworks and prospective laws, community education and advocacy are some of the things we can use, to help people who are going through gender-based violence. Next slide, please. Now, how to handle these forms of violence? You can have psychosocial and emotional support crisis counseling by providing professional counseling and psychotherapy. There can be peer support groups. Survivors may benefit from sharing experiences with others who understand. And then trauma-informed care, of course. Approach with sensitivity, recognizing signs of post-traumatic stress disorders, anxiety, or depressions. Next slide. Looking at this diagram, you see that who is overpowering who? Do you think the male or the female? Is it the male that is overpowering the female? Is it balanced? The man seems to be falling down. It doesn't seem to be falling down. But you see, looking at the people laughing at the background, it tells you that the woman is dealing with the man. If the man was dealing with the woman, they wouldn't be laughing. They will try to help her. Do you agree? So legal and protective measures need to be taken in issues like this. People are encouraged to report and reach out to the right and proper authorities for assistance. And then I know in the law there are things we call restraining orders, right? The person is asked not to come. I know it is the white people that mostly you see. You are not to come 200 meters, even here, right? Mostly. Okay. So the legal person is going to give us more light on that. So we have legal aid in Nigeria is available. Next slide, sir. And then there can be community and social intervention. Of course, when the community is aware, you see this one, the woman is this one. The man is even screaming. She held him on the neck. This one, there's no way, right? Say again. Okay. So, you see, in most cases, when you hear gender-based violence, what comes to your mind? You feel that the man is the one abusing the woman. So we know that the men abuse women, that one is normal. That has become the acceptable norm. So I'm trying to depict that, okay, it's not just the men that do though. Let's try and balance it too. So this is not saying that the women, no, we're just trying to balance, but I'm not being biased. I hope you understand. No, we already know that men abuse women. That one is sure. That is certain. But I'm just saying, just for us to, okay, agree that, okay, women also, you get. Okay, so, safe shelters can be provided in cases like this. And then there should be times where men and boys are engaged to be psycho-educated about violence against women in most cases. Also, women should also be psycho-educated about the violence against men. Vice versa. There has to be some form of education for, both genders. Next slide. Okay, now you are satisfied. You can see the man now punching a lady. Have I balanced? Still no. This one is emoji, right? Okay, so economic empowerment. Now, when a partner is dependent on the other or on their spouse, especially for economic reasons, some form of economic empowerment should be provided so that the person becomes independent, financially independent, or economically independent. Right? So that is what we're encouraging here, to have that kind of approach. Next slide. I'm rounding up. So institutional and policy response. The legal person is here. I'm sure you shed more light to that. Right? So we advocate for effective laws. There should be police training on handling issues like that, and survivor-centered policies. Multi-sector collaboration between the health sector, the judiciary, etc. And in conclusion, Mr. DJ, in conclusion, gender-based violence in families, actually leaves deep and lasting trauma. Breaking silence is the first step to healing. You have to speak. Please, men, when you are going through some form of violence in the home, speak up. And the women too, don't keep it to yourselves. It is proper, but don't go to the wrong people to open up. Go to the right person to speak up. And then support systems, laws, awareness are key to ending the circle of gender-based violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Once again, please, a round of applause for him, please. Thank you. I want to believe we've all learned so much from his paper presentation. For those who don't know that women beat men these days, I know you've learned that now. So men, you need to man up. Doctor, I said men should man up. You did, Make men man up now. Provide for your home so that madam no go beat you. Yeah, that was actually what I meant by men manning up. So ladies and gentlemen, we're moving straight now to the panelist discussion to prepare our minds to do that. First of all, we want to beg you to please make sure you put down your questions. Put down your questions. Because we'll be going into that. But before that, to prepare us to go into that, we're going to call these guys that have been doing well in the entertainment industry in Abuja. Please, put your hands together. Just entertain us briefly. The 911 squad. Please put your hands together for them, please.
Mo dé, mo tún dé bí mo ṣe, mo tún dé bí mo ṣe dé o. Ọ̀pàpà parada ìmọ́lẹ̀ tuntun ti wọlé dé o. Yo, my people, my name now Orisha Femi, aka the Music and Taliban, and I dey hang out with the best DJ, #1 DJ, ABJ DJ to bad, DJ Slam. Slam it! Oucha!
Balaclava. Oh no. I'm looking forward to a Friday, a must. If you don't get money, no collect the table.
Some a day go good, some a day go bad. Actually, mo try it. Balance balance. You dey play the work, very soon na jawo. Baba God don't like liability. Secure money, secure for you and me, secure for family. Secure money, secure for you and me, secure for family.
Looking forward to a Friday. If you don't get money, no collect the table.
No matter never if don't fight, but you won't fight. I give you people. Toba ole, I am the new money, but I'm more. I can picture this life that you, my life. Oh, baby. If you see my baby, you go shut up for me. I'm a guy to find, I'll be make up for me, baby, like now, no. Finish one for me, oh, tomato, put that thing back,
Let's put our hands together for them.
See me in the club, VIP, I'm a jumbo love. Sandy Yagi, Youngie John, who won't let her go? I want to read the body bubble, go, the body bubble, coming through, skip us, skip bubble, skip us, skip bubble, shower boy, Gibolo, your body boy, hero, give me them, you know I like to do
Please put your hands together for them, please. Thank you. Please put your hands together for them. Please, a round of applause for them. I think they're rounding up now. They're rounding up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please put your hands together for them. Thank you. Thank you, DJ. Come, this is from Sir Kingsley Eselebo. I told you he's one man that encourages and loves us so much, especially entertainment-wise. He's always there to support us. Yeah, you're welcome. See, I'm here. See Sir Kingsley there. He's our destiny helper. He's a helper of the helpers. In the help those where they help people. So he's a helper of helpers. Thank you. Thank you. The resource persons, I will see bring them up. It's fine. Thank you so much. Uh, 911 squad. When I know say I will see business. You know, guys, here. You know, who be this person where they attack me from back? Who is this my attacker? Hey! That's the LOC. Area. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the next phase of this event, which is the panelist discussion. The personalities I'm going to be calling up here will be speaking to address a lot of issues bordering on both drugs, its uses, things concerning the family. Generally, they'll be touching various topics we've treated this afternoon. First on my list is a consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Dominic Ogbeche. Please put your hands together for him, one of the panelists. Please, can you usher him, please? Dr. Ogbeche is a gentleman. The next person coming up is from NDLEA, Dr. Nduka Augustine. Also, one of the panelists this afternoon is no other but Barrister Ogechi Nzenwa. Please put your hands together for her. She's been sitting quietly for the past. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and also to join them on stage is Dr. Ame Zion Abba. Is Doctor around? Okay, Doctor is going to be joining us virtually. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, also at this side, joining the panelists is no other but Professor Agatha Ogbo. Also, Dr. Moturayo Onyelohunu. Please put your hands together for Doctor. We also want to bring up Dr. Alexander Agara to join them. And of course, the anchor man of this session is the chief clinical psychologist, Serenity Royal Hospital. A man who walked in here sitting quietly from the inception. Please, if your hands are not busy, put your hands together for the lead clinical psychologist, Serenity Royal Hospital, Abuja. Please, let's jam our hands together for Dr. Smith Dama. Doctor, you're welcome. Doctor is an addictionologist and, of course, a sex therapist with over 10 years of clinical working experience. Once again, celebrate Doctor, please. And so, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I hand the microphone to Dr. Smith to take over the affairs of this section of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, we need your rapt attention. I remain your humble host and servant, MC God became the microphone oracle. Thank you. Could you please clap for me?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We won't waste much time. I will please permit me to stand. Panelists, you're welcome. Now, let me start with Dr. Nduka Augustine. This question is for you, sir. Dr. Nduka, can you hear me at the back? Am I audible enough? Okay, because I wouldn't want us to waste time so that we will give the audience opportunity to also ask their questions. Dr. Nduka. Okay, while they are trying to sort out this, let me just go on. Okay, Dr. Nduka Augustine, NDLEA, sir. This question is for you. How can families...
So sorry for that break. Of course, this won't be complete if we don't get the spiritual aspect of whatever we're going to be speaking this afternoon. And so to talk from the spiritual aspects, please, if your hands are not busy, jam those hands together for no other but Shannon Dogo. Please put your hands together for him, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Doctor Sir, this question is for you. How can families and communities collaborate better with NDLEA in preventing drug misuse?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, my moderator. The NDLEA assignment, like we earlier have mentioned, includes law enforcement. We're a law enforcement agency. So we do arrests, seizures of exhibits, and prosecution of offenders at the Federal High Court. That's one aspect of our job. The second aspect is drug demand reduction. And it's in this aspect of our job, we don't concentrate on the suppliers and production of this drug. We concentrate now on prevention. We concentrate more on collaborations with communities and individuals. We collaborate more with corporate organizations. We collaborate more with communities, just like you rightly mentioned. The NDLEA, like any other law enforcement organization, we are not in the communities. Even in law enforcement, we need people who are residing in the communities to know dealers of these drugs, to know where the plantations are, and to bring intelligence for that purpose. So through the Drug Demand Reduction Directorate, like I said when I was making my brief presentation, anyone, organizations, churches, communities, offices, you can do a letter to the NDLEA in every state command, including the national headquarters in Jahi. Once you send a letter and say, please come to my community, or come to my church, or come to my office, and do a drug preventive enlightenment or education to my audience, or it's a school, the NDLEA, through the Drug Demand Reduction Directorate, is open to that. And in that way, we're able to have preventive drug education. Because we usually, when we interview young people brought in for treatment, you understand that if these young people had known that drug is actually a trap, if these young people had known that the first time they tested these substances, they are on a journey through many months and years of treatment, they would not have tried it. So prevention is key in our operation. Prevention is not just cheap. It's not just better than cure. It's cheaper than cure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Dominic Ogbeche, this question is for you. From your experience, how does untreated mental illness increase vulnerability to addictions within families? I will repeat the question again. From your experience, how...
And in recent times, awareness regarding mental health has actually been, is better than what it used to be, because quite a number of organizations, government and non-governmental, have actually been having seminars and making attempts to integrate mental health even into, the employee scheme of a number of organizations. So that is helping a lot to improve the level of people to seek treatment, relatively earlier than what it used to be. Another thing that really makes people not to seek treatment early, untreated mental illnesses, is also because of the beliefs of the people. This thing that is going on with me is spiritual. Maybe someone from my village or my enemy is the one responsible. So quite a number of people go untreated. Seminars like this actually reduce. I've seen more and more people seeking help for their mental health conditions. Now, when mental health or mental illnesses remain untreated, it has a negative effect on not just the person, but the family. Anyone that is being treated, actually you're treating the family too.
how do mental illnesses relate to use of addiction, right? Or, I mean, use of substances and addiction in families? Firstly, there are a range of symptoms, and I'm happy that with the presenters, Dr. Monturayo covered a range of things that has to do with stability in the family. So that's a background lesson for us. Someone may not be sleeping well, having depression, maybe anxiety, maybe psychosis. They could begin to self-medicate. Gradually, they may become dependent on the substances. Now, self-medication is one of the things that may also worsen, and then the cycle is there because the illness is not treated. And then the caregiver burden, mental illness puts a lot of pressure on the caregivers. So you see a number of families providing care for someone who's mentally ill. And then they are stressed out, burnt out. Some of them, in fact, I've seen families, a particular mother that had two children that she was treating. She herself eventually broke down. She was not able to sleep. And she began to self-medicate. I mean, she eventually became dependent on sleeping pills, unprescribed medications. She said, oh no, I'm the one that should even be treated. There are quite a number of families like that. An area that was also mentioned earlier, when, for instance, you have a parent that is ill, it will affect the bond with the children or with other people in the families. The parenting will be affected negatively. And then there's usually an interplay because if you look at also the genetic factors and the environmental factors going on in the families, these, either prolonging the period of illness is a cycle. When mental illnesses are not treated, someone goes into substance use to get some help. That will worsen the illness, and then the substance use again. So it's a cycle that really has to be broken. Importantly, by seeking treatment. So if there are families that use substance, like we learned in one of the lectures that was presented, the environmental factor, by learning, you're seeing your maybe father using, or mother using, or siblings using, there's a chance that through learning, someone in the family or members of the family also pick up that habit. And then there's the dual genetic component, that the genetic predisposition to mental illnesses also would predispose same families to use of substance. So that interplay is there. So usually the earlier treatment is given, the better, and appropriate treatment, the better for the patient and for the family, and also the better the chances of reducing or taking out addiction from families.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before I ask the next question, it actually calls for concern because your presentation, Dr. Motura, just clearly tells us that addiction is actually a family disease. But a lot of times we tend to focus environmental, but we tend to focus on the people who have the substance use disorder, and then we don't actually, the highest we can do, Dr. Alex, is to actually do family therapy. Family sessions. But we don't actually pick these individuals that you have mentioned and do therapy for them.
No, when they present to the right, I mean, yes, to the specialists know exactly what to do. That's why that was emphasized in the presentations that we had.
Yeah,
because
sure.
you see, treatment is not just about medications. The therapy, individualized therapy or individual therapy, and then there is the couple therapy, as the case may be, and family therapy. There is not a single person that is admitted or hospitalized for treatment that we don't engage family and relatives.
Sure, we do.
Yes.
We do accept that. Okay. But what I'm saying is the treatments actually go beyond, because in our facilities, most times, you don't actually create treatment plan for individual family members. That's just what I'm trying to say. You actually bring in the family as form of support. But do you pick each of the individuals to find out how the addiction or the substance use has actually affected them? Anyway, Dr. Moturai will shed more lights on this. Barrister Ogechi, sorry if I don't pronounce your name very well, forgive me. But I need us to also stick to just 2 minutes so that we will give the audience enough time to also ask them. Barrister Ogechi in Zenwa. Okay, Ezenwa, right? Family/criminal lawyer, legal and counsel in Nigeria. What legal support system are available for victims of substance abuse related crimes or family violence? Okay. I'll repeat the questions again. Yeah. What legal support systems are available for victims of substance abuse related crimes or family violence?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll start with victims of violence. Right now, the law has evolved. Usually, these are classified under assault and battery during the under the criminal code and penal code. But due to the evolution of the law, and a lot of laws have been put into place, and one of it is the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. That act we have is a first in Abuja, in FCT, and other states have started domesticating that act, which covers a variety of issues, starting with, that's what I was telling brother when he was saying, talking about marital rape. It is included. Usually before, there's nothing like marital rape. Once you are married, it's by force, whether you like it or not. But this time around, there is what is called marital rape is included when it comes to rape. And then the law looks at imprisonment as regards that. We also look at other issues that has to do with the violence, domestic violence itself. And the law is also on that. So when you go to the Prohibition Act, all you need to do is to get the contact of a lawyer, and the Legal Aid Council is for those who cannot afford a lawyer. Because nowadays we discovered that due to the level of poverty, that is where we find a lot of this violence taking place. And most of them in that class will not be able to afford the services of a lawyer. And the law affords them the opportunity to do so with the Legal Aid Council, which has been in place since the 1970s. You just walk in and a lawyer will be assigned to you as regards that. And we look at also the invention of the law, the Violence Against Persons Act, covers varieties of issues that has to do with violence. And it's so rich that took the law away from where the criminal code stopped to cover other aspects that were not included. Then when we talk about issue of mental health issues and behavioral actions are not criminal, but it's the action that comes from those acts that is criminalized. So the law has gone further to talk about rehabilitation is included. Rehabilitation. Usually when you commit an act, they just throw you into prison. Now there's what they call non-custodial sentencing, meaning that you don't need to go to prison. The courts can send you to community service, put you on probation. That is where the AJA is coming in, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. You put you under probation, and now counseling is included. The courts can send you for counseling and therapy when they know that you are having issues with anger management, you are having issues with violence. You can go outside from the sentence, you can be given a fine and also recommended for therapy and counseling. We have issues of fines, and then when it comes to domestic violence, whether the man or the woman, there's something you must do. You will pay restitution, you will pay compensation in order to help the person build back his or her mental health, get better, because trauma comes from violence, and the courts begin to understand that this thing is now intergenerational. It is now, there's a circle. So as regards that, you need to start treating you. And then when it comes to your children, the victims of domestic violence takes the child. The court looks at the perpetrator of domestic violence and separates you from that child. And finally, we have case of restraining order. I said that earlier. I was supporting when doctor was saying restraining order. The courts can now rule that you'll be separated. But there's an instance. First, you can walk into the courts for that order, but you'll be given an interim order, meaning that the other party don't need to be there when the order is being given. But afterwards, the party is invited. And when they discover that truly you are you're a source of violence in your home, there will be a perpetual restraining order. So these are the things put in place right now in order to curb or reduce the effects of violence and mental health issues in the home. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this explanation. So is Dr. Ame Zion Abba online?
Can you confirm you can hear me?
It's online, right? Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is
We're pleased to have you online.
it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, sir, we want you to answer this question for us. How important is community-based mental health advocacy in reducing stigma and supporting affected families?
Your volume is very low.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me, sir?
Go ahead.
Okay, let me repeat the question again. How important is community-based mental health advocacy in reducing stigma and supporting affected families? Can you hear me, sir? Can you type the question?
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much for that very beautiful question, very insightful information about this. Can you see when? Can you please confirm if you can still hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Okay, can you hold on for us? So can we go on?
Sir?
Okay. Can you please hold on? This volume. Let's ask them. Okay, thank you very much. Professor Agatha, this question is for you. Now, families in the digital and desire age, that's actually your topic, right? Okay, healing from behavioral addiction, that's also part of the topic. Now, how does excessive use of digital devices affect family relationships today? How does the use of digital, excessive use of digital devices affect family relationship today?
So, we know we are in the digital world, the digital era, and everybody is carrying the world. Everybody in the family is carrying the world in their palms. And most of the time, families are known for, communion, talking, relating, bonding. But because, and in family, we know that the family is actually made of people from different generations. We have the S generation, and we have the millennials, we have the Gen Zs, and then in most families we have the Gen Alphas. So these are group of, and the two last family members are known as the digital tech and the savvy tech. So they are the digital persons in the family. And parents are busy. And most of the time, in fact, a lot of parents do 9 to 5. Some in the market, business people, some even do 7 to 6, 6:30. So, and the children have these smartphones, they have technology. So there is no bond most of the time. So everybody is on their own. And it actually affects relationship. Like most of the time, during puberty, adolescence, that's when a lot of children, try to understand themselves, gain identity, and they run into a lot of, problems. They have a lot of questions, and most of the time, the parents, when they come back, they are too tired to listen. And then, because they are the digital techs, they are the savvy techs, they go to their phone, and there is AI to help with all the answers. And, before you know it, that communal function in the family will no longer be there. And then these kids get the answers from, from the internet. So it actually disrupts family communion and a lot of behavioral problems. And again, most of this time, when they get so addicted to the text, like sleeplessness and all those stuff, and they have to go to school in the morning, they need to be strong. That's when most of them turn to drugs, something that, will keep them alert. So this text is really a challenge to the family. But then the family still have a role to play, especially the ones from the older generations that were raised to hold the family value. They still have to be strong to make sure that these Gen Zs don't get off the track. I don't know if I got the question.
Yeah, you did. There was something that you said in your presentation that, got into me, and I feel that families should actually take, the truth of the matter is this: if you must relate, and most parents find it difficult to do that, if you must relate with this millennia and Gen Z or Gen Z, you have to do what? Come down to their level. When you don't, and most parents just feel you just want to remain that old school, and you want to stay at that old school level, you can't get the best out of them. Whether we like it or not, they are smarter, they are more intelligent, and what else again? It's just that the only thing is that they don't have, just like Dr. Motunrayo said, they don't have resilience. They don't have the ability to manage pressure. If you really want to know what is going on with them, see, I listen to the same secular songs, my song listening to. That way, I can do what? I can guide. The other day, we were in the kitchen and we were like trying to cook something. And then he started singing a song. I said, that's Joe Boy. And then he sang another one again. I told him the name of the artist. And then he could relate with me. That way, I can instruct, I can direct, I can mentor. So we need to come down to their level and do what? And learn. But you see, when you're far and you're trying to impose by fire, by force, they become what? Rebellious. Dr. Alex, this question is for you. Your topic is gender-based violence in the family, the trauma within. How can survivors of family-based violence begin the journey of healing? I'm going to repeat the question again. How can the survivors of family-based violence begin the journey of healing?
All right, thank you for that question. First of all, survivors would have to accept that there's a problem. And then secondly, these survivors would have to, meet with professionals. And then thirdly, they should not, like I said, in acceptance, they should accept, seek professional help, but most importantly, they have to forgive themselves. Now, I give you another illustration. A woman came in and said her husband has been violent against her, almost always raping her every time. And every time, she said her body is beginning to become resistant to antibiotic because he infects her with sexually transmitted diseases all the time. And so there is beating, there is rape. How does she cope? Now, the first thing she did for herself was by accepting that there was a problem, by voicing it out. But then she said, I'll say it from, I'll ask the spiritual person here, maybe they'll shed more light, that she started going to church and the pastor was counseling her, but he kept telling her to pray for her husband and be submissive. So she asked me, for how long will she be submissive? I didn't have the answer for her because it was more from a spiritual angle. So I just said, as you have accepted, you need to move on. So she asked me, how does she move on? Should she leave her husband? How do I answer that question? So the best thing you do is your safety first. So your safety first and then getting professional help, because what defining your safety is important. Your safety might be different from my own kind of safety. My safety might be I want to leave. My safety might be I want to run and hide when these things start. But for healing, you have to first of all forgive. So it starts with forgiveness and then the rest will take place or shape.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
The psycho-spiritual. Dr. Motorayo told us that, she said that it is actually biopsychosocial, right? But I think we should add spiritual to it. Biopsychosocial spiritual model. Does that make sense? Because I think that's the approach now. Biopsychosocial spiritual. Like for my facility, where is Blessing? For my facility, we bring in spiritual sessions. The Malam come for the Muslims, the pastor or the priest comes for. The priest comes every Sunday, the pastor comes on Friday, and he comes on Sunday for the Christians. And I won't lie to you, we see how spirituality has actually helped in their recovery. Now, this question is to you. I'm going to ask you two questions, but it's like in one, but two. And I want you to be brief. I'm giving you 2 minutes still, okay? Now, the first one is, How can individuals integrate spiritual practices into their daily routine to support recovery and well-being? That's the first one. How can individuals integrate spiritual practices into their daily routine to support recovery and well-being? Ranging from all the presentations they've made today, what connection do you think it has with spirituality? So how can they bring in spirituality into their recovery?
And second question.
No, answer the first question. But I'm giving you 1 minute for this question. I'm going to give you another, question for 1 minute also.
All right, thank you for that question. For limitation of time, I'll be precise and say the best way to add spiritual practices to help in improving your mental health is by not making it an afterthought, but a foundation in whatever you're doing. So in terms of like for prayer, if you're a Christian reading scripture or a Muslim reading the Quran, especially journaling, because it helps to process those emotions, meditation. So you can do maybe first thing in the morning, you say a prayer, you write some things in your journal. At night, you reflect on scripture. Just pick times in your day that you must create time to do those things at that time.
Thank you. Please clap for him. Thank you very much. Now, the second question is, can you share insights on how unresolved emotional or spiritual issues might contribute to addictive behaviors? Unresolved emotional and spiritual issues, how can they contribute to addictive behaviors?
That's a great question.
You didn't see it coming, right?
Okay. On how they relate, everything boils down to control. Being able to control your decisions, control what's going on. So when you're having an emotional response, this unresolved emotional or spiritual responses, what happens is that you're losing the ability to control yourself in certain instances. Because some people now that are addicted to drugs, for example, they'll see it and they can't stay in one place. They are lacking that ability to control. So when you're including these spiritual practices, like meditation, which has been shown to reduce stress by up to 30% by just putting that. So by including this, it allows you to calm down, process that situation, then you'll be able to come to a better solution.
Yes, sir.
Responding to how emotional problem or spiritual problem can end up galvanizing mental health condition. I think for me, based on my experiences for the past years, as a Catholic priest, we believe in the sacrament of reconciliation, the sacrament of penance. And most times I have discovered reliably that some people come to the confessional with some emotional problems that cannot be sorted out at the confessional. For instance, they will confess a sin they committed when they were young girls. And they have repeatedly gone for confession for that sin. Because forgiveness is two-way. If you accept that God has forgiven you, if God has forgiven you, you should equally accept the fact that you have truly been forgiven. Now, the connection there is that some of them who carry this long time's guilt will not let go of themselves, such that anything that happens to them today, they begin to interpret it in line of what they did many years ago. And unfortunately, if the devil baptizes them, when I say if the devil baptizes somebody, it means if you are unlucky. If they are not lucky and they fall into the hand of a pastor, the seers we have, the so-called sages we have, the ones who can see tomorrow, then they get the whole thing complicated. I'm telling you that some pastors can tell you that the virus, the HIV virus you are carrying, that it was deposited into your body by your stepmother. We have encountered cases like that. So that is how I see the problem. Now, we pastors should be humble enough to know that it is not every problem we can sort out. So that when somebody comes with this kind of excessive guilt, we should be able to look behind the confessional or looking at the possibility of referral so that they'll come and meet you, clinical psychologists, to help us, because it is not everything, every problem they bring. Some problems they bring, they are very complicated. And at the confessional, we have only limited time, very, very limited. And this is what I want to drive home, because this very mental workshop is rooted in the experiences I have had in the church based on the spiritual aspect, so that we begin to boost, we begin to open up the possibility of the psychiatric aspect, the psychological aspect in attending to our parishioners. And I will recommend strongly to the church that they should introduce a course on psychology, clinical psychology, a course that equally talks of the mind, even though spirituality has to do with the mind. But the psychological aspect, the clinical aspect is more material, so to say, than the spiritual aspect. I think that is my little understanding.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for the Father. Thank you very, very much. Because for me, I have had cause to have referrals. Like a lot of pastors and priests refer patients to us. I feel, and not only that, we have a lot of Arunun mosques in central area has actually referred a lot of patients to us. Thank you very much, Father. Dr. Moturayoma, this question is for you. What early signs should families look out for in substance abuse? What early signs should because most times families don't even know until when it gets out of hand. When it gets to that unmanageable state, that's when family knows that something has been happening. So what are the early signs, warning signs, the family will see and take note of?
All right, thank you so much. Whilst a lot of them may not be very specific, but they should raise our curiosity, and we need to ask more questions. So number one, if somebody is beginning to keep to themselves and seems to be getting more secretive, they are no longer behaving the way they used to be, particularly young people. They are locking themselves up in the restroom repeatedly, or they are just saying, I know in adolescence they start to protect their space, but it's becoming too much. Don't come into my room. You can only enter my room when I say so. I think people should take note. If they begin to demand for funds excessively, we should also take note. What you're giving them before, yes, we know the economy has changed, but when it becomes too much, they were managing maybe 10,000 naira a week, even as students, and then they begin to ask, within 1 week, they have asked for money 3 times or 4 times. Parents should have a high index of suspicion. You're also noticing changes in weight. They are either eating too much or not eating at all. You should also take note, because not only with these are signs of substance use, but they are also early warning signs of mental health issues. Not sleeping well. Then, of course, maybe they change their circle of friends, and you know that the person they are moving now with, you are not very sure, the person looks like a shady character, or you know things about the person. Please don't say, my son is a saint, or my daughter can handle anything, she's mature, communication corrupts good manners. Some have been brought down to join because of peer pressure. So let me also mention like bloodshot eyes. That is very common with cannabis use. Please have a high index of suspicion. And for some of them also, maybe they, okay, I've talked about sleeping too much or not sleeping at all. And then aggression or even frank mental health issues. A lot of anxiety, they start having a lot of anxiety symptoms. They can't seem to settle the voices of people they cannot see or seeing things that others are please suspect. Sometimes parents would bring their children, whether adolescents or children, and we say we want to do drug tests, and they will say they can vouch that their child does not do this. If it is fighting, it fights. And then we do the test, and we see substances in their in their system. Then, please, I was going to also mention another sign, which I think, keeping late nights, and also maybe you also smell, so a lot of us may not be very good with perception, but when you start perceiving funny smells in their rooms, please investigate further. If possible, when they are not around, check their space. Pull up the bed, check under, and be very, very careful. Some parents also, you say? Yes, using all of a sudden they are spraying perfumes 10 times in a day. And you're wondering, what are you masking? Is that? Yes, they are spraying perfume and they are smelling nice all the time. It may be to mask the smell of some substances. Some substances don't have odors. And if you find anything strange, the good thing also is that internet is very helpful. You can take a picture of something and you don't even need generative AI like ChatGPT. Yeah. Our Android, you can Google it and it will show you what it is. Because sometimes parents would also see some of these things. Yes. They will see stem. There's something like the inside of this pen, plain. It will look as if it's the container that puts the pen inside. But it's used to use some substances like ice, nkulumiri, crack cocaine. They stuff it. You see pellets and strange things. It's looking like potash. It's looking like, please don't just assume, I just swept it. A lot of times parents, because we don't know, they've swept it and they've trashed those kind of things. But they are actually substances that are being used right there in the family house, right there under our noses, and we are not able to pick some of these things. Yes, and then academic decline. Your child was doing very well before, and then you start seeing, and there's nothing else to explain it. It could be either a mental health issue is going on, they are having problems in school, or it could be from substance use issues. So we need to investigate some of this. It's not enough to blame teachers or the school or to change the school. We need to also investigate. And if there are reports also coming from school, from the neighborhood, and I think sometimes we get very sensitive. How can you say this thing about my child? My child is good. But if there are reports from school, and I think a lot of teachers mean very well, they spend time with our children in school. If they raise any issues, please, let's be humble enough to listen to them and investigate further, because they are also very experienced and they've handled a lot of children over the years. So these are, I think, are some of the cues or signs that we can look out for. Thank you. There are others.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. How many of us have seen shisha pot? As parents, how many of us have seen shisha pots? Sir? Shisha pots. Shisha. You have seen shisha pots like. Doctor, sir, how many parents, when we had time out, how many parents came to your stand to look at the substances that you have there? Hello, one house. when we had our, time out, when we had our break time, how many of us went to the stand there to look at the substances that were displayed there? How many? But they were displayed there, sir. You displayed them there. Aha. This is shisha pot. A mother was traveling. She usually comes from Jos to Abuja, and she was buying shisha for them, and they said they were burning incense. You know, it has different flavor, right? Until when the uncle came to the house on a visit, and then he saw it, he beat the hell out of them. She ran to the room and was like, "What is going on here?" She said, "Auntie, why are you allowing these children to be doing this?" So we need to, sir, please, we need more awareness for parents specifically so that they can know these things. I know someone, yeah, sure.
Okay, so please permit me to add an additional information, and this concerns vaping. Vaping. So vaping is like the new trending things. It's not new, but it's quite new now, and is trendy, and it looks classy. Where they will tell you at least they are not smoking cigarettes or they are not smoking marijuana, but they are vaping. Vaping is like electronic cigarettes. And the way for some of us, if you travel out of the country, if you see a vape shop, you will think you are entering a classy perfume shop.
Exactly.
They are so beautiful, and the vapes are so attractive. You will want to use it. Honestly, if you are young, you will want to try it. I've seen a lot of vapes that even I would tell myself, wow, this thing is so beautiful. And the way they will carry themselves, the way they will be using. So, like I said, please, if you see, and vaping is very dangerous. It's been identified that it can destroy someone's lungs, destroy and even lead to death. There's a new practice also. Especially if they are sharing things as well, balloon.
Yeah.
They'll be sharing balloon and they'll be inhaling it. Please, let's be sensitive. It's not that they are just catching fun or blowing into balloons, because I don't know why adolescents will be blowing balloons and be saying, you to blow your own. They are actually sharing drugs, because that is laughing gas that is inside the balloon, and it's that's nitric oxide. So they are really very smart, but these are, sorry, I forgot to add these two additional signs. There's also one that this young boy went to the UK to visit, they went on vacation, and it was his older cousin that gave him that thing. They call it snot. I've never seen it. In fact, that was the first time I would hear of it. It's like a very small white something. Then they will put it on the gum.
Yeah, it melts there.
Yes, and it got him into trouble because he shared it with some of his friends, and one of them now collapsed in school. That was how they now found out he was expelled. This particular boy was expelled. So there are a lot of things going on, but the mom did not even sense it. She thought they were in good company, they were with his cousins, everybody was doing well. So anything strange, actually, please, let's have a high index of suspicion. We also don't want to know everything, even us. Special cake, they say this one, mommy, don't eat brownies. This one. Daddy, you cannot taste, just know that it is edible. They say don't taste this particular one. This one is not for people like this, for us. That thing has something they don't want you to eat off. Most likely cannabis or colos, and you need to be very careful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then smart wristwatches too. Some of these vape come in that form. Thank you, NDLEA. NDLEA, I think they are displaying the substances. Please, when you finish, take time to go and look at them. It will help you a lot. Fanan, now back to the audience. The first two hands, please. If you have, okay, one. That's two, right? Questions? Oh, Fanan, please help me sort these things out. Okay, the first person is there. Please, I'll just give you, 30 seconds. I'll give you 15 seconds. Please summarize your question. Don't go into presentation. 15 seconds, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
I
ma'am.
think this is okay. I want to talk about
Please, one house,
sorry,
please.
it's not a question. It's just a contribution concerning this mental health.
Please, 15 seconds.
Okay. What I want to talk about is on postpartum depression. I believe that so many of us, we are not aware of this. Sometimes, especially we women, and we mothers that go for omugo, you see your child, you have a daughter, a child that you know before, you know how this girl behaves, and now you see her behaving abnormal. It happens to most women. I didn't know that there is something called postpartum depression until I went through it. It was a tough situation that I almost lost it. In short, I was sent to psychiatric hospital. I was sometimes, what happened? I went blank. And it was God, if not the intervention of God. I kept, each week I go for 50,000, kept spending money in the psychiatric hospital for it. I didn't know, because sometimes you see me, people were telling me when I had recovered, they told me that sometimes I will be happy, sometimes I will be moody. I didn't understand until the thing manifested. One day I dressed up, I was like, I'm going to Jerusalem. They say, you're going to Jerusalem. My husband was like, I said, yes, I'm going to Jerusalem. I dressed my baby. It was on a weekday. I thought that day was Sunday. When I recovered, I started knowing days, weeks, and stuff like that. I didn't, even things I wrote, I couldn't recognize them again. People, sometimes I'll forget I had a mom, So what I want to bring to our notice is we mothers, husbands also, try to, monitor your wife. Monitor your wife. Even fathers, monitor your children. Know how they behave. The wife that you used to have, when you see her start behaving abnormal, especially towards the children, this is a very important topic, because most times you see some women, they kill their children. They beat them because they are not themselves. You see them, they become aggressive.
Thank you very much, ma. I appreciate your 50 seconds, sir. Thank you very much. You see, the truth is this: mental health is like this. Abi? Mental health is like this. Okay. We're still going back to Dr. Ame Zion Abba. We'll try him one more time and see if he's available. Please, can we give our attention, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, sir. Are you with us?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that, for the moderation.
Thank you very much also for making your time available for us. Please, quickly, this question. You just have 2 minutes to answer this question. How important is community-based mental health advocacy in reducing stigma and supporting affected families?
Okay, thank you very much for that. So let me firstly say that according to our Pope Francis, blessed memory, a society that neglects the weak will never know prosperity. And this is to say that the individuals who are come down with mental illnesses or mental disorders, we should not, they should not be discriminated. Be able to find ourselves in the community.
Oh, he said me. Okay, sir, can you turn off? Sorry, sir, can you turn off your video? We're hearing you. Can you turn off your video?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so what I'm saying, when we talk about the issue of stigma, it is something that impacted willingness to seek for help, willingness to open up conversations, willingness to even be able to enjoy empathy. So stigma has been one of the critical issues that have increase the rate of mental illnesses and disorders and mental conditions in Nigeria. Also, it has been very clear to also have been a risk factor to even life of attempted suicide and suicide itself. As a family or as a community, we must be able to see that we have the responsibility of knowing what exactly mental health is, and not just the myths of mental health, but the facts around mental health, and communicating it effectively to our family members. We should be able to encourage families to normalize talking about their feelings, to normalize conversations around mental health. We should be able to see that people should not be judged by what they go through. Give an example. We have a quotation from Pope Benedict. Now he says that the human person is not made for rest and for dignity and communication. Now, if we will not find a place to correlate as a community, where we bring in family to understand what exactly mental health is, the impacts with ratio of productivity, it's going to be very terrible. Now, let me give you just 4 things from the definition of mental health, where we need to really invest in the family-wise, which is the community. Where we have a community or a family that does not understand its potential or its ability, it's a problem. Where we have a family that does not understand how to come up with coping mechanisms, a family should be able to know what exactly they can come up with as a coping mechanism or as a way to strategically deal with the stress that they face as a community or as a family. The family or the community must be able to understand how they can be productive and take it in the reverse in closing.
Okay, sir.
Please,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ability will never be able to come up with things that can help.
Sir, can you hear me?
Mental well-being.
Can you hear me? Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate this contribution, but we can't hear you clearly. So we're sorry we have to actually stop here. Thank you. We appreciate your contribution. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. One question from here. I saw a hand here. Okay, sir. Please, 10 seconds. Please, straight to the point.
Mine too is just a contribution.
Wow.
But at the end, I will ask a question, brief one.
No, sorry, we don't have that time, Mo.
I know.
15 seconds.
I know.
Just go straight to the point and let's have your question.
The NDLE, I'm advising to please step off campaign on visiting communities and other areas within like the FCT, because a lot is going on there. At times I wonder if you can arrest people at the plantations, stop them from planting, stay on the highway, sit where they are consuming this. And those people that are actually taking part in bringing these things, selling them to the end users, those who consume them. So your effort should be not just on the highway and those who planting, but also to visit those who sell these things and those who consume these things in the area. And also, I also want to advise you step up your campaign to marketplaces, school places, and even communities, as I've said earlier, so that, if possible, to churches. Like in the Catholic Church, the Sion is made up of youths, the CMO, the CW, and others, so that you will pass this message of mental health to people. Because as I'm here, I've learned a lot. My children are not here, and I cannot tell them all I have had here.
Please, can you ask your question now? Thank you very much. Okay, that's fine. I'm very sure, sir, Doctor, most of this concern that he has raised, this campaign has been in place for a long period of time. But for the sake of time, we won't actually. But there's a question here, sir, NDLEA, Doctor, sir. What is the role of teachers in the face of mental health challenges in the society, considering the fact that these children, teenagers, are sent to school where teachers are poorly equipped to carry out their jobs and not supported by the society and parents to mold or form these children? So your campaigns, sir, have you done campaigns to schools?
Okay.
And then how do you have a program that equipped teachers?
Yes. Everyone has a role in this, and that's why no one is exempted, both in building skills, equipping people with knowledge about these issues, about the current trends, the new drugs coming out, because it's an evolving thing. Vapes were not initially there. In fact, it was a young person. A father snapped this and sent to my phone. I said, I found this in my son's room. I don't know what it is.
Sorry, can
And by the time I saw it, I just told him that this is a vape pen, electronic cigarette. They are known as electronic nicotine delivery systems, ENDS. In other words, the traditional Benson is no longer the in thing. It's a traditional cigarette. You need to deliver nicotine electronically into your system. They call it ENDS. So by the time I sent that message back to that father, he knew what he has found in his son's room. And we managed this young person for a while, and of course, he's still in recovery even as we speak. So coming to your question, sir, everyone needs to be educated or trained, sorry. The teachers are very critical. The teachers are the custodian of these children, teenagers. Oftentimes, of course, it's said that children spend more time. If you check the total time children spend in school, they spend much time with the teachers in school, maybe more than what they spend now in families. Even in vacation time, parents still send them to holiday, extramural, and places to go. And parents are so challenged at times with these teenagers that they just want them to be out there busy doing something. This connection that Prof talked about and the doctor talked about, most parents have abdicated this responsibility for other people to do. So in terms of teachers training, there is school-based prevention. They are all probably Colombo-based teachings, where you talk about age-sensitive trainings, where you talk about the kind of knowledge you are going to be giving to teachers so that teachers will be able to see these behaviors and identify it and maybe connect with the school counselor. There are school counselors training that are basically for the school counselors who oftentimes are the people that these children are referred to when cases start happening in the school system.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, sir. Dr. Dominic, thank you for coming. Dr. Onduka, thank you very much. Barrister, please, your name is Ezenwa. Thank you very much for coming. Professor Agatha Ma, we appreciate you. Shannon. Are you from Southern Kaduna? Oh, okay. Jaba. Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much for coming. And then Dr. Motunrayoma, thank you very much for coming. Please put your hands together for them as they take their seats.
Please jam your hands together for them as they keep moving to their seats. Keep clapping until they sit down because it's not easy to address a very big menace in the society. Thank you so much. Thank you, our great panelists. We appreciate. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're gradually coming to the end of this event. Just to let you know, Father's book launch will be on Sunday. Sunday is going to be the grand finale of the 25th anniversary celebration. in CKC, and there's going to be a book launch on Sunday. Now, part of funds that will be generated on Sunday because of Father's passion and putting into action his what he has studied for so many years. And of course, life experiences also in family life. Father has planned. In fact, it is a key plan for Father to set up a wellness rehabilitation center here in Abuja. Please put your hands together for Father. That's very key to him. That is one thing that has been giving Father sleepless nights. And so on Sunday, we're going to be having a book launch. Funds that will be generated from that book launch will be used to kickstart the setting up or the setup of that rehabilitation center to address issues and challenges. A lot of families are passing through so many mental health challenges. You will agree with me that sometimes you see a man, because of one or two issues, he will drive the wife away. And such persons come to Father for advice or for counseling or for treatment, because these are mental health issues. This facility will be used to take care of such persons. There are some that you don't need to ask to go back to that same husband who has been bullying her, or the same woman that's been bullying the husband. So in such facility, we have a whole lot that will be going on there. It's going to be a rehabilitation center. It will be a help center for mental health issues to address a whole lot of issues. And so this is Father's plan. And so I want to beg you, we want to beg you, Sunday, come out in your good numbers. Let's do this. Of course, I have the LOC here who has been working tirelessly to plan the event. And so we want to beg you to please prepare yourselves. On Sunday, the CWO are the mothers of the day, so they're going to really mobilize themselves. CMO are the fathers of the day. They'll also mobilize themselves. The youth also will be playing vital roles. So all of us are going to key into this project by or from Reverend Father Christopher Damina. It is our project, and we shall all achieve it together. Yes or yes? Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to give us a closing remark, I want to invite, first of all, the Mental Health Committee Secretary will give us a short remark. Then the Chairman LOC will give us a closing remark. Thank you. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Fanan. Men are clap for Fanan now. Clap, clap.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm a very shy person. I don't know why I was picked to do this anyway. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Our, I don't know where to start from. Our professionals, our religious leaders, our reverend fathers, our reverend sisters, and every single person represented here. It has been many weeks of planning, but then what's the use of planning if we do not have an audience like this? So we want to appreciate you for your patience, for being very, very patient with us. I know that a lot of things may not have gone, as planned, and some of us are not happy. I know that most of us want to continue the program anyway. We're enjoying it. But we have to just end here today. When it comes to mental health, there is just so much. It is very, very broad because it cuts across every aspect of our lives. And it's difficult to actually talk about it in one day. So please pardon us if we took more time than we actually planned. But we are very, very... So, yes, so we want to say thank you on behalf of the Mental Health Committee, on behalf of my chairman, and most importantly, on behalf of our celebrant, Reverend Father Damina. We want to say thank you so much for coming. And one thing, I think you have the flyers. If you need anything, there are contacts there. You can just reach out to us, maybe WhatsApp or calls, and then we'll do the appropriate referrals to whichever organization, or if you or someone you know needs rehabilitation or psychological or psychiatric services, so we can refer you appropriately. So once again, it has been an honor to serve in this capacity as secretary. I'm really humbled and honored. So God willing, see you next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fanan, for that coming from the Health Committee. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to give us a vote of thanks from the LOC, which also will serve as invitation against Sunday. Please, let's put our hands together for Dr. Ambrose Okbaleke. Thank you.
The celebrants and conveners, sir. Reverend Father Christopher Yakubu Damina, PhD. His fellow priests availably present, all panelists, all speakers, special guest of honors, Reverend sisters, the CWO, thank you very much. The CMO, thank you very much. CKC parishioners, thank you very much. Everyone present here, thank you very much. The Mental Health Committee, thank you very much. My local organizing committee members, this couldn't have been possible without you. Thank you very much. We are really, really grateful. We are really grateful for everyone here and for all that you have done by sitting, by listening, by contributing, and by participating. We are grateful. And we will want to use this medium to invite you for the finale, which is on Sunday. And after, it's going to start up with the 10:30 Mass. After the 10:30 Mass, we are going to have a little but great part, which is the book launch of the convener and celebrants. He has put in a lot of work into this, and I can bet that you are all going to gain a lot when you read that book. So please, you are all invited. Thank you once again, and may God continue to bless you all. Thank you very much.
Please, a big round of applause for the LOC chairman. Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very beautiful day working and, of course, anchoring this event today. I want to say thank you to you all for being my guests, for being my audience, lovely audience you are. I remain your host, MC God Pikin. I'm the microphone oracle. I talk for a living. Can you please appreciate me? And so to take us to God this evening, I've just been informed that NDLA will want to snap group picture with the speakers and of course the panelists that are here and of course Father. That's after the final blessing. So to give us the closing prayer is Reverend Father Celestine, Father's cousin. He's here. Please put your hands together for him. I earlier said that we'll have dinner, right? I said we'll have dinner, right? So after the final and closing prayer, kindly go home and eat dinner. As I hand the microphone to Father Celestine to give us the closing prayer. Thank you very much. See you guys some other time. On Sunday, please, I would love to see your faces. Thank you.
Let us rise. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the life of the convener whose initiative has brought us here. We thank God for the enlightenment. We thank you for bringing us safe and sound and coming to the end of this event. We pray that all that we have heard will be for the good of our homes, for the betterment of our society, and for the good of our church. As we retire back to our homes, we pray that you lead us back safe. And as we continue to celebrate with Father, may we share in his blessings, and may your graces continue to remain with us all through the days of our lives. This we ask through Christ our Lord. We fly to your protection. The Lord be with you. And may the Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much. Please